Hi, welcome to Think Tech. We're raising public awareness about technology, energy, diversity, and globalism. This show is Center Stage. I'm your host, Donna Blanchard, proud managing director of Kumu Theater. And we are coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumu Theater. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm talking with someone who actually is an artist, is involved in art, but that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're talking to Jim Murphy, who's the executive director of the Honolulu Habitat for Humanity. So that is a nonprofit. He's the executive director of that nonprofit. He also is the president of the board of directors of Kumu Theater, my theater. We're going to talk about the art of nonprofit management. Welcome, Jim.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
It's nice to have you on my show. So as an artist, you've been involved in productions yourself, as a stage manager, as an actor, as a singer,
yes,
as a dancer.
No.
Thought I'd go
Sure.
there, though.
Good shot.
Just
It was
thought
a nice
I'd
try.
check.
It's a nice try.
Okay. Any other?
I did improv, did a little stand-up.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Stand-up.
yeah, in Chicago. Relatively unsuccessfully, which is why I went backstage and became a stage manager. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Go back there where you can tell people what to do.
Exactly.
Like, you can tell them to like you.
Yeah, or I can turn the lights on, lights off if I need to.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so you went for the power. I understand that.
yeah.
You also, let's go for a little background here because
Okay.
I think it helps. You also helped to start a theater in Chicago.
I did. I studied theater at Indiana State University, and some friends of mine and I moved to Chicago to start our own theater, we were around for about 3 or 4 years. Mildly successful. It's a really competitive market there in Chicago, but we did some improv and did some original scripts, and it was a great learning experience. And little by little, people moved on in their lives and got jobs, and careers changed, and it sort of faded away. And I started becoming more involved in the technical part of theater, and was the technical director for theater there for a while. And then when I moved to Hawaii, met you and joined your board.
And that's all there is to it.
And that's it, yeah.
I didn't realize that you were a TD in Chicago for one theater, or were you?
Just one theater. It was a friend of mine who had another small theater, and he just needed somebody to build sets and stage manage the show and just sort of manage all aspects of the shows that they're doing. And they only did a couple of shows a year, so it was relatively small, and they didn't have a space of their own, so they just needed a TD.
Gotcha.
So.
And was that volunteer work?
Yeah, it was volunteer.
It was all volunteer work.
Yeah.
So those were nonprofits also?
Yes.
And were you involved at all in the running of those, or strictly the technical work, the back office work at all?
Not so much. When my friends and I moved to Chicago, we were also the management of the theater itself. But we were very young and had very little money, and so it was just trying to figure out as we went along. And I was in my early 20s at the time.
So were you thinking that you were going to be able to support that theater by ticket sales alone?
Oh yes, of course, because when you are an artist, you know that if you produce something, everyone's going to find out about it, and everyone's going to come and see it, and you're going to be full every night, and they're going to be throwing money at you wherever you go. And so we were completely convinced that once they found out about these shows, that we were going to be packed. And oftentimes there were more people on stage for shows than there were in the audience.
Been there.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the show must go on, and we did it anyway.
So you do them anyway because those 5 people still paid. The reality that I think a lot of people don't recognize about, talk about theater first, is that you really have to charge more than the average person can easily afford on a regular basis.
Right.
If you're going to support if you think you're going to support yourself solely with ticket sales. The usual model is you support only a third to a half of your income is actually coming from ticket sales and subscriptions, earned income.
Right.
Everything else is people have to give you money.
Right. And I think it's because what you have is so much more unique than going to a movie or subscribing to Netflix or television or the other kinds of entertainment mediums. The theater is such an exposed art and such a unique experience that I think you can almost justify charging a little bit more, asking for a little bit more, because it's a sort of precious commodity that needs to be protected in some ways.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But we at Kumu would have to charge like 3 times what we do now if we wanted to support
Correct.
ourselves with that. And
Right.
I think that's, in the nonprofit world, I think what a lot of people in the profit world are surprised by is the idea that we have to have, people have to just give us money.
Right.
For nothing but a good feeling,
Right.
really.
Yeah. Well, because we are serving, because you are serving a particular mission, you're serving it well. Kumu is a perfect example because it is a unique mission that nobody else is doing. And so were that to go away, then the results of that mission would not be met anywhere. So, so you ask people not only to come see the shows, but also to give you money because you want to protect that. You want to protect that that nonprofit's ability to serve that mission.
Right. And there you go. Yeah, that is the most important thing about what the organization is doing, whether it's building houses or theater. I just had an email today from someone who didn't care for one of the shows in our last season, and I said, but this is who we are. The mission is that we're producing brand new shows. We're encouraging those, identifying and encouraging those playwrights. And if you support the mission, then you have to support us.
Right.
And that's why we're still here.
Right.
Moving into our 46th season. Mm-hmm. Now, Habitat for Humanity, very different than a theater. You guys get to build houses.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The theater, you build fake houses. You just build the front of the house.
And then we tear them down.
And then you tear it down. We actually build a full house. So, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we tear them down every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about the global organization.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
So Habitat International, there are just under 1,400 Habitat affiliates. We are one of them. There are 7 in the state of Hawaii. They've been around since 1976. They're coming up on their 1 millionth house that they've built worldwide. And I think they are one of the top 5 home construction companies or organizations in the world. They build that much. They were started in Americus, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. And it exists to give home ownership opportunities to people who would not otherwise have them, people of low to moderate incomes whose financial stability is either at risk or risky, and trying to stabilize their economics, provide them safe housing, and allow them to improve their lives. Our affiliate was started in 1988. We've built a number. We're finishing our 77th house right now, and we serve most of Oahu. There are 6 other affiliates in the state doing this work, and we rely very heavily on volunteers and donors and grant writing and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay, so I have to ask a question about it because you're always building new houses.
Yes.
Right? So what about repurposing spaces?
Oh, that's true. We do have funny you should say that. We do have a home preservation program. So these are for people who already have a house, but that house may be in disrepair. Maybe you need a new roof. Maybe you need new windows or landscaping or something like that. Mm. So we can come in and do that kind of work for you. And preserve that house, improve the quality of the house, the safety of the house, the appearance of the house, and in many times the value of the house. And because land is such a high commodity here, we don't have the opportunity to go out and purchase land to build houses for families. So we have to rely heavily on families who have land of their own, who are land lease recipients from places like Hawaiian Homelands or DLNR or Bishop Estates, or people who have a house that just needs to be repaired. And so they will come to us for those kinds of repairs. One of the things that most people don't know about Habitat is that we don't actually give the houses away. There's actually a mortgage involved.
Oh, I did not know
yes,
that.
So and that's part of the economic stability that we're trying to create within the family. So we want the family to be able to repay mortgages to us. Now, it's a zero interest mortgage. So if it costs us $120,000 to build your house, your payments back to us are $120,000 over 20 years, but it's 0 interest, and we service the mortgages ourselves so that the families are making their payments to us. So if they fall behind, somebody gets sick, somebody loses a job, they're not in, they don't become in dire straits with the bank or other lenders about the possibility of foreclosure or something like that. They come in, they talk to us, we figure it out, we move forward. So.
Oh, very cool. I did not know that. Yeah. So how are you supported? What's your breakdown of income?
So we have a Restore, which is in Kalihi, and a Restore is it's a resale shop. People donate building materials, appliances, and furniture to us, and then we sell that at well below market rate, and then that helps fund our mission. The second is the mortgages that families pay to us. It's a bit of a pay it forward model. So we build you a house, you pay, you're paying your mortgage back to us. We can then take that money and build somebody else's house. And then the third is my sparkling personality and going out and fundraising and grant writing and coming on shows and talking to my friends.
Well, I can't understand why that isn't just alone doesn't
that
take
alone.
care of
Yeah, we should
keeping
shut
the
down
lights on.
Yeah. So it's a very sort of streamlined model, but it works effectively, and we do a lot of really important good work out in the community. We have a saying that it's not about the house; it's about the community that builds that house, and it's very true because when we go into the Waimanalo neighborhood, we are not just building a house for Bev Gagnon in Waimanalo. We are bringing that community of Waimanalo, whether it's churches, whether it's people from across the street, whether it's businesses that are there providing lunches or what have you. We're bringing those people together to help build that house because communities that have a larger percentage of homeowners get more back from those homeowners. There's more money spent in those communities. There's a larger investment from the neighbors, and homeowners tend to keep their yard up more and send their kids to local places and schools and whatnot. So.
Yeah. We're going to take a break in about a minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a 1-minute question.
Okay.
Well, you had worked in the for-profit sector.
Yes.
Previously. What were you most surprised by when you moved from for-profit into nonprofit?
How much I lacked working for a mission, and how much a mission meant to me. I didn't realize that the mission was going to be I worked in healthcare and a couple of different nonprofits, but I can't imagine not working for a mission-oriented organization. I cannot fathom going back to work in the corporate environment.
Yeah.
So.
I feel the same. That was good. That might have been a little under a minute, but we're going to go ahead and go for the break anyway. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and I want to let you know if you have any questions for Jim, you can tweet us at ThinkTechHI, and we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back in about a minute. Aloha.
Aloha! Angus McTech here on Think Tech Hawaii with my favorite show, Hibachi Talk. Every Friday from 1 to 1:30 p.m. Please join us with my good old buddy, Gordo the Texar and Andrew the security guy. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. How you doing? Aloha!
Hello, I'm Marianne Sasaki. Welcome to Think Tech Hawaii, where some of the most interesting conversations in Honolulu go on. I have a show on Wednesdays from 1 to 2 called Life in the Law, where we discuss legal issues, politics, governmental topics, and a whole host of issues. I hope you'll join me.
Hi, we're back and we are live. This is Center Stage on the Think Tech Hawaii Digital Network. If you would ever like to join us in our downtown studio audience here in the heart of downtown Honolulu, you may do so. Just email j@thinktechhawaii.com. If you ever have any suggestions for the Center Stage show, please let me know, and you can tweet me. It's all about Donna. It's pretty easy to remember because it's true.
It is true. Very true.
Okay. So I absolutely agree with the mission-based. It's really hard for me to, I used to, you know, we all have those stories about when we used to make a lot more money and then we decided to go work in the nonprofit world. And I couldn't see myself ever going back,
Yeah.
you know.
I think it's just, I think that part of what makes, so if when you're in a corporate environment, when you're in a business, a for-profit business, you have something and you sell it. And then you have your bills. And if you want to make more money, then you work harder at selling it, or you have more stuff, or you charge higher, charge more for it. And with a nonprofit, I do something, I have a mission, we're building a house, I promote it. And I know you promote it in for-profit as well, but I promote it, and then I promote it for people to sponsor, to donate, for grants, for me to do more of it. And so it's almost underwriting the work that you're doing, where in a corporate world, it's not so much underwriting as it is that direct impact of I'm just buying something that you have. And I like the fact that there's this underwriting aspect of nonprofits, because it ultimately is just building a much stronger foundation for the work that we do, for the work that we all do.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and Hawaii is an amazing place for nonprofits. Very high number of nonprofits here, and the collaboration that you get in Hawaii in general is amazing, but the collaboration within nonprofits I think is pretty special as well, because we all know each other, we all work together, we all collaborate with one another, and where there are opportunities to come up with projects or shared services or things like that. Hawaii is really, really communal in that respect.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and you and I both faced a bit of an extra challenge coming in because we are new. I know we look like we
Yes.
lived here
What
all
high
our
school
lives.
did you go to?
I went to Lowell High School. Where'd you-
Nobody's ever asked me what high school.
Yeah, what high school
Terre
did
Haute
you go?
South Vigo High School in Indiana.
So now everybody knows we're just a couple of good-looking kids from Indiana.
Yep,
So-
yep.
who did not know each other before we came here.
Yes.
But we both did face the additional challenge coming in of not knowing people, not
Right.
having those connections, and being able to call your uncle
Yeah.
and see if, because you know he knows someone from Hawaiian Electric Industries.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Had you worked in nonprofits on the mainland also?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah, I worked in nonprofit health and some community development and community development financing. So I had about a decade or so experience in nonprofits before I came here.
Okay, in Chicago
In Chicago,
primarily.
yeah.
So yes, you face that obstacle coming in, but you feel like it's a much more supportive environment.
It's a very supportive environment. I think because it's still relatively small. Honolulu has a bit of a small town, or not small town's the wrong way to say that. More of a hometown feel to it. You do run into people at Costco. You do. When I was walking over here, I ran into my wife just walking down the street. I never ran into my wife in Chicago until we went home. So it's very much of a hometown feel here, and a very collaborative feel, and I think it's just a great environment to do the kind of work that we do, because everybody really does want to help out. We find that it builds. We go out and we're doing a groundbreaking in Waimanalo on Saturday, and we go out and announce to the neighborhood of Waimanalo that we're building a house, and people, if they've got a Saturday free, will just come across the street and help out. Whereas in Chicago, they'll call the police and tell them that they're making too much noise.
Yeah.
So it's just a really, really great place to do the kind of work that we do.
Yeah.
So
So what about, here's something that we face in the world of theater. Most theaters are started with actors and maybe playwrights and directors. They're the ones who start the organization. When you
Right.
want to start a 501c3, you have to form a board. So they're the people who form the
Right.
board. And somewhere along the line, usually, if a theater is successful within the first 10 years, people realize, oh, we have to have business people on our board if we're
Right.
really going to be able to make this fly. Did you face anything like that with, was Habitat for Humanity here already strictly a business board?
It was largely, we had a lot of construction, just given what we do. We had a number of construction people and bankers and those kinds of things. But it's very typical. Healthcare runs into the same issues. You get a lot of healthcare people that are involved in boards when an organization is started. And the thing that nonprofits need to recognize is there's an evolution in nonprofits as they grow, and there is a place for everyone, and there are very good business reasons for bringing in people who do not have a theater background to sit on the board of your organization, because for one thing, they don't come at it with that bias of the art. They're there to really look at the financials and ask tough questions, and you need those kinds of people there. You need people who are, can give you legal advice. You need people who can do public relations. You don't want a room filled with just actors, because they're only going to see things from one perspective. We have the same issue. You don't want a room full of just people who build houses, because they're just going to see that from the perspective of building a house and not necessarily running an organization.
Yeah.
So
you have your master's degree in nonprofit management?
It's a traditional MBA. It's got a component of nonprofit. I got a certificate in nonprofit board governance along with my MBA. But it was from a university in Chicago called North Park, which focuses on nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you decided to pursue that because, had you noticed in the market that because you wanted the knowledge more? I have to ask this.
Yes.
Because you felt like, oh, I need to learn more about this, or did you feel like I need the contacts that I'm going to gain for the community?
I think the reason that I went for that particular MBA was I felt that I needed it for my career. But then I also wanted to get to the point where I was running an organization, and I felt like having that MBA would be able to position me well to do that. Not only would it give me the knowledge to do the work, but then it would also look good on my resume. Mm-hmm. And the board governance piece was something that I found to be particularly interesting because I served on a lot of boards in Chicago. I serve on boards here, serve on your board, and I take the role of a board member very. I take great responsibility in my role as a board member. And I think far too often people join boards because they have the highest of intentions of being good board members, but they just actually don't have the time or some of that expertise to be that good board member. And so board governance is important to me because I think you've got a staff of 3 people that work at your organization, and so you need your board to be very involved in certain aspects of your organization. You also need your board to not be involved in certain aspects of your organization. And so good board governance sort of figures out where those lines are, and they're different. They're different in your organization than they are in my organization. And I think that we too often just get people to just join boards because we just need to fill a room, get a quorum, and approve things, and not necessarily focus on what does this organization really need in its board.
Yeah.
So
yes, I know both you and your wife have served on boards, mm-hmm. volunteer. Do you feel like, and you don't have kids, so it's different.
We don't have kids.
We don't have kids. We do not have kids.
Like that's a surprise.
None of us have kids
I don't.
here. None of us have kids. Right. But I feel like it's different for when people don't have children in the family. It's a lot easier for them to go out and volunteer, but. So you do have the time, the availability mm-hmm. to do that. Do you feel like it's integral to your life that you get involved in the community in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I did some community development in Chicago, and I'm a very community-minded person, and I've never believed that a nonprofit or any company should go to a community and say, here's you know, here's my company, here's what I think you need. I think they should go to the community and say, here's what I do, tell me what you need, see if we can't work together to solve your problems, if you do indeed have problems. And so I believe that because I do have this free time that you speak of.
I don't know why I had to put it out there like
Yeah.
that, but somehow I have to give the people who do have kids that out.
Sure, yeah.
You have 5 years per.
Oh, okay. So I do, but you know, I do like to serve on boards because I mean, I was an artist. You know, theater is a very important thing to me, and while I didn't necessarily end up choosing that as a career, I want to make sure that it's you know, a sustainable. And I like coming to see Kumu Kahua Theater. So I want to make sure that it stays open. So I take that very responsibly.
Yeah,
So.
that's the other side of nonprofits, is that it's, yes, we need support, financial support from the community, but we also need people. We need volunteers and
Yeah.
board members
Yeah.
and people to step up within the community and say, I want it to stick around, so I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have over 3,000 people in our database of volunteers. So when we open up a build day, we can fill that in minutes because there are so many people who want to come out and build a house with us that it's just, and they come from everywhere. They're military folks, they're businesses, they're people from the neighborhood. It's just people who want to get out of the house on a Saturday and because they probably got kids and they just looking for something
want
to
to
do.
get away from them.
So the volunteers, I mean, the volunteers are what make us all tick. And I mean, and even in your, you know, in the shows that Kumu does, I mean, it's largely made up of the people who audition, the people who work backstage, the people who come and work the box office. I mean, the show doesn't go up if there aren't that group of people who come together every night and make it happen. And they make it happen because they love what they're doing and they love the theater because nobody's making big bucks at it. So
Right.
Yeah.
So where do you see the future of Habitat for Humanity? Do you have aspirations for any changes within the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we are. We just did a major strategic plan, and we're expanding our capacity and looking to build anywhere from 8 to 10 houses a year. We're trying to do much more of our home preservation, and we've gone through a lot of changes over the last couple of years, and we feel like we are through that period. And are very strong now, and we're going out into the community. We have a new program called Wahine Build, which is getting women in construction once a month out at our build sites. And so we're very excited about the Wahine Build. And
Very cool.
Yeah.
And people can find more information at
HonoluluHabitat.org.
HonoluluHabitat.org. Thank you very much for being here.
It's very
Nice seeing you
Good to
outside
see
of
you.
the boardroom and.
Yeah.
That we're also
Yeah.
friends, so
Yes,
yeah,
we're friends,
okay.
yes.
All right, well, thank
We're not best
you
friends,
very
but
much. We're not best friends.
No.
But we're friends. I'd like to thank you for being here also. There's a few other people I'd like to thank here in the studio. We have a couple of interns here, Diamond and Haley, is it? Yes? Thank you very much, interns. I'd like to thank Rich Prapus, who is our floor manager. Thank you, Rich. Zuri Bender, our studio overlord, who is in my ear. Thank you, Zuri. And I'd also like to thank Jay Fidel, our producer, who somehow manages to put all of this together. We will see you next week on Center Stage. Bye.